What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's first exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Anthony.
And for this first exclusive segment, first time ever this year, we are going to be doing our top 5 or so waiver wire pickups after week 1. Going to be talking about some guys that you should be rushing to the waiver wire to get, or some guys that you could possibly wait for, the next morning after, wake up early in the morning and grab them off of waivers. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and be sure first, before anything, be sure to check out our other episode, first ever episode that dropped today on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where we kind of went over our biggest takeaways from every game throughout week 1. We went through each game, couple, 2, 3, 4 things that we learned, things that caught our attention, or things that we just wanted to throw out there. Then tomorrow, Wednesday, we got our best bets video dropping from last week. You guys seem to like that one. Hopefully you guys made some money from our best bets over the weekend. I don't know. And then Thursday, we are dropping 2 more episodes. Our podcast, it'll be Anthony versus Ryan head-to-head, our weekly pick'em wager. And then we'll be dropping our stardom sit-ems for the week, including Thursday's Washington Giants game. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Check it out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and
before we get into that, be sure to check out our sponsor. We're not there right now, but be sure to check out Little Italy Pizzeria. They still got the best cheesesteaks, the best pizza in all of Delaware. I just had some the other day. It was amazing. Mozzarella sticks, cheesesteak with some fries. It was great. Be sure to check it out.
Yeah, shout out to Matt. Matt said I made the best baked ziti he ever had. Enough said. Alright, so with that being said, we got about 5-8 names to talk about for waiver wires, guys to look out for. So you want to go ahead and start out with that first one?
Yeah, I'll start out with Elijah Mitchell, running back for the San Francisco 49ers. This is the most obvious one. This is the guy that you should be prioritizing first, in my opinion. And there's a lot that goes into this one. Raheem Mostert's out for about 6 to 8 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon, he was supposed to be the guy all offseason to take the spot after Raheem Mostert. I guess 49ers beat writers were wrong, and it looks like it's going to be Elijah Mitchell. 49ers beat writers were also wrong about Brandon Ayuk. Nobody said that he was going to not play in week 1.
And he was getting drafted as early as the 5th, 6th round.
I'm not even worried about it. Nobody mentioned the injury at all. Nobody mentioned any concern of it. I think Brandon Ayuk is fine. I think he'll be fine in a week or so. But I think that was an injury, and 49ers beat writers. They didn't do too good with the Trey Sermon thing also. So give me Elijah Mitchell. I do think this 49ers backfield will be a headache every week. I could see them going a hot hand committee type of deal. But for right now, Elijah Mitchell just had, I think, 19 carries for over 100 yards against the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be the lead horse in his backfield until Trey Sermon maybe does something. But give me Elijah Mitchell first, priority.
Yeah, and not to mention the 49ers are going to an Eagles team this week in Philly who was okay against the run, but Mike Davis didn't have a bad game. Cordell Patterson was running all over him when we had the game on. So that's just something to look out for as well, and that's just another reason why Elijah Mitchell is the number 1 priority on the waiver wire this week. All right, and then with that being said, let's move on to another running back who's on the waiver wire this week. Probably Mark Ingram.
It's not sexy at all.
I know. just about to say, that's a weird pickup. Mark Ingram, I know, but Urban Meyer got the Jaguars killed by the Houston Texans. That's a conversation we'll be touching on the podcast, though. Link below. Be sure to check that out. It's out right now. Pause this video, go tune in, or check it out after you watch the video. It's up to you. But yeah, Mark Ingram got a lot of love in that Texans offense. It seems like we didn't really know how they were going to handle this running back situations, considering they have about 4 guys who are all capable enough of being the starter, in Burkhead, Ingram, David Johnson, and Phillip Lindsay. But Mark Ingram kind of took the lead on that one. I think he had 2 touchdowns maybe. He had a good bit of carries as well. So, if Mark Ingram's there and you need a running back because you just lost a Raheem Mostert, or if you lost someone else, go ahead and grab him. I don't blame you. Me personally, I don't like it, so I probably won't be going to grab Mark Ingram. Especially there's other guys on this list who I'd rather have over Mark Ingram. But, if he's there and you feel like taking a Houston Texan, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, this is just like drafting David Johnson at the end of your draft and this year's fantasy draft. This is just getting a starting running back to kind of play as a depth piece, but I think he's pretty safe for what he is. He led the team in rushes. Now this team, David Johnson also scored a touchdown. I believe Phil Lindsay might have scored a touchdown also. This whole entire team scored, it seemed like. I think they could do a committee, but I think Mark Ingram will lead the committee. Like I said, it's not a sexy pick, but I think he's going to be pretty safe week in and week out for maybe 70 yards, possibly a touchdown. It's kind of just what he is. So I'll go ahead and jump to the next guy on the list, and this is coming off some pretty bad news for Jerry Jeudy, who has a high ankle sprain. There's two guys in mind here. It's kind of who you believe in more. It's Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler. I personally like Tim Patrick just because I believe he's done more for this Broncos offense in the past. KJ Hamler battled injuries all through last year. So yeah, I might pick up Tim Patrick. I think he's definitely up there on the waiver wire. If you need a receiver, he has had production in this offense before. Jerry Jeudy will be out for what, 4 to 8 weeks. And Sutton didn't do very good in last game, so I could see Tim Patrick taking that step up, being at number 2, possibly even number 1, and Sutton's still, iffy. I personally like Tim Patrick more than KJ Hamler, and I wouldn't be mad at you if you went and picked him up.
No, I mean, I like this Tim Patrick waiver wire pickup a lot, especially as a Jerry Jeudy owner in some of my leagues. As soon as I found out he was hurt, when I went and checked my teams this morning, Jerry Jeudy went right to IR, and I put in right for Tim Patrick just because the value he has. I mean, Tim Patrick finished as the Broncos' leading receiver last year with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy on the team as well. So
KJ Hamler didn't play that much, but...
Yeah, with Jerry Jeudy on the team, they have Courtland Sutton. He was kind of quiet last game. He didn't make much noise compared to the noise that Hamler made, Jerry Jeudy made before he got hurt, and even Tim Patrick. I don't blame you for if you like a KJ Hamler better. He's more of a deeper threat. He's usually good for a couple deep posts a game he gets open for if he catches them. He had one big drop down the middle of the field against the Giants on Sunday, but no, I mean, I like Tim Patrick better. I'm personally going all in for Tim Patrick on the waiver wire this week. I use a waiver pickup on him. He won't be there tomorrow morning when you go to check when the waivers go through. So, I mean, I highly recommend Tim Patrick.
That's fair.
And then this next guy is a very surprising guy on this list. Personally, I was never really a fan of the guy until he signed to my team. And having him on this list is kind of saying a lot. Nelson Agholor from the Patriots. He seemed to be Mac Jones' favorite target when Mac Jones wasn't throwing to the running backs. If you want to hear my thoughts on Mac Jones this week, link below the podcast. You guys may be surprised on how I feel about him after this week. But no, I mean, the Patriots, they seem to be spreading the ball a lot around on the offense, which is good and bad for this. I saw Jacoby Myers was getting some love. Both the tight ends were getting some love, and we were running the ball a lot, even though our running backs below, and they can't hold on to the ball to save their lives. I think we had 3 or 4 fumbles on Sunday, and we lost 3 of them. 3 of them by our running backs.
Nice.
So yeah, but now Nelson Agholor, he seemed to be Mac Jones' favorite receiver on the team, favorite target. He caught a touchdown. He had a couple deep catches, and I mean, you were watching the highlights. You look at Mac Jones; he's always looking for Nelson Agholor. They seem to have built a very strong chemistry through camp and through the off season. So I mean, look for that to continue. Nelson Agholor is a receiver who is an extreme deep threat. He hits a receiver on a double move or gets open down the middle of the field. Mac Jones is going to air it out to him. Mac Jones is always looking for him. So, I mean, Nelson Agholor, even if you don't start him this week, I mean, they play the Jets, so maybe Nelson Agholor will be on our sit-ems for this week. But, yeah, I know. Nelson Agholor, another one, not a sexy waiver wire pickup at all. But, I mean, you got a potential receiver, one of the Patriots, who gets a lot of love from the quarterback. Go ahead and get him, as ugly as the pick him up is.
Yeah, the next guy we're going to talk about isn't the greatest either. There's not many glaring pickups after week 1, so don't drop one of your players that underperformed week 1, especially if you had confidence in them at the start of the season. Don't overreact. Don't overreact. But this next guy we're going to talk about is Latavius Murray. I was a firm believer in Tyson Williams. I thought that he was going to be the guy, and after last night, I'm not very sure. He did have a good game, and he scored a big touchdown. But they still gave Latavius Murray the ball more, especially coming down the stretch. So that's concerning to me. I don't know if I'm rushing to the waiver wire to pick up Latavius Murray because I think they will do a running back committee, and I'm still a believer in Williams personally. I could also see Latavius Murray. I could also see Le'Veon Bell getting in that mix. So I think the only running back that I'm going to keep from this Ravens team is Williams. I'm not rushing to give Murray, but I understand it if you do.
Listen, I'm wearing the purple. I'm on the Le'Veon Bell train again. I know. I was on it in Kansas City. I know last year. I know. But I'm on the Le'Veon Bell train. Enough said. And then this final guy. You want to talk about a surprise? Jameis Winston. The New Orleans Saints absolutely blew Green Bay out of the water. Don't know what happened. Some say Aaron Rodgers is starting the season. Others say that his off-season shenanigans caused some chemistry issues. Some say that the Saints are just the real deal, you know? And Green Bay is just not it anymore. But now, Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns against Green Bay's defense, who was touted coming into the season to be very good, but they looked horrible. Again, talked about that more on the podcast link below. But no, I mean, Jameis Winston throwing 5 touchdowns with Adam Trautman, Alvin Kamara, and Juwan Johnson. That says a lot. And I mean,
would have been more if the Packers didn't get blown out.
Yeah. But nah, I mean, Jameis Winston, if you need a quarterback to stream this week, it's probably Jameis Winston.
Against Carolina.
Against the Panthers defense who
It's
looked good, but it was the Jets, granted. Let's be real. I mean, Jameis Winston is probably the quarterback stream of the week, unless you're feeling like I don't know. I mean, I feel like all these waiver wires and leagues are different because some leagues you got Matt Stafford on the waiver wires, and other leagues it's like Tyrod Taylor, Ben Roethlisberger, Mac Jones. But yeah, Jameis Winston, definitely, if you need a quarterback to stream this week, go ahead and stream him. I mean, from the performance we saw from him against the Packers, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that Jameis is, can I say he's back? Jameis is back, baby.
Jameis is back without the interceptions.
Yes.
Best quarterback in football.
In theory. Yeah. Essentially. In practice. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah.
That's going to wrap up our, top 5, 6 or so waiver wire pickups. But we also made a list of some players to look out for. I had 2 names. I added. He had 2 names. He added. So I'll go ahead and say my 2. The first one is Christian Kirk. There's been speculation of who is the number 2 wide receiver for this Arizona Cardinals offense. Now, Christian Kirk, he had about 70 yards and a touchdown. This is kind of coming off of the blowout of Tennessee, so I'm not rushing to the waiver wire to get him. I'm not sure if he's going to do this consistently, but if he starts to establish himself as a number 2, I think this is a great offense to be a number 2 in. Rondale Moore also did decent, so I am interested in the Cardinals number 2. I'm just waiting to see kind of who it's going to be. The next guy I mentioned is Juwan Johnson. He is a wide receiver that converted to a tight end. He scored 2 touchdowns in the Saints game. I know Adam Trautman out-targeted him. I understand that. But if Juwan Johnson can keep getting red zone targets, that's really all you need from a tight end.
Yeah.
Especially if you waited to draft one. So if you're somebody like me who didn't draft a tight end until the very last person to take a tight end, I might be looking at a Juwan Johnson, just kind of add him to my team and see what happens.
I'll tell you, I'm looking at a Juwan Johnson considering Gerald Everett is my tight end 1.
He scored a touchdown.
Yeah, true. We'll just have to see how that plays out in Seattle. But now, like your names, speaking of Christian Kirk, did AJ Green do anything or no?
I haven't heard. I don't think so.
I was gonna say I didn't even remember seeing him in the game. But I had 2 guys as well. The first guy, believe me, by no means am I saying go pick up this guy at all.
Oh no, this is just keep an eye out for him.
Van Jefferson from the Rams. He ran more routes than Robert Woods did on Sunday night. I mean, take it how you want it. As a Robert Woods owner, I mean, it's kind of like
Robert Woods was an afterthought.
Yeah, but I mean, Van Jefferson, I mean, when he was in the game, he's running routes. Matt Stafford was looking his way. He caught 2 big catches for a touchdown or 2 maybe. Matt Stafford was looking. Cooper Kupp kind of stole the show though for the receivers. Cooper Kupp had a game, but yeah, it's kind of concerning that Robert Woods was kind of the receiver 3.
Van Jefferson is really the only explosive player on this offense.
Yeah,
so I could see them, exposing him throughout the year, and possibly especially in daily fantasy, you plug him in, I can see him getting a big touchdown.
Especially because Matt Stafford can throw the ball downfield better than some of these other quarterbacks.
He likes to, because he had Kenny Galladay, who he threw the ball downfield to. And Van Jefferson might be the only real deep threat on his team. I don't see Robert Woods burning anybody or Cooper Kupp. So
yeah,
that's where
Robert
I'm
Woods
at.
and Cooper Kupp are probably the most boring wide receivers in football. I mean, Cooper Kupp can be fun to watch, but I mean, they're boring. They're not gonna
Your
go.
next guy's pretty boring too.
Oh my God! Yeah. Jalen Ramsey's dad, Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow had 9 targets on about 70 yards and maybe a touchdown. Although, I mean, they threw the ball a lot. Darren Waller had like about 20 targets, 23 targets on 10 catches, I think, 10, 12 catches. So, I mean, they threw the ball a lot, but I mean, it's good that Derek Carr's spreading the ball around. When we get down the year, if injuries start to happen, or I mean, if Hunter Renfrow is consistently seeing about 10 targets a game and 70 yards, I mean, I may consider going to pick him up. It's just it's a name to look out for, really. I mean, I'm by no means, like I said, I'm not telling you go get Hunter Renfrow off the waivers because I don't know. I think last night's win for the Raiders was a fluke. But yeah, Hunter Renfrow, watch out for him. I know it's boring. I know a lot of these names are like, ew, why are you name dropping them on the podcast?
Usually after week 1, there's more pickups, but
no, there's not.
Not really.
No, absolutely not.
Week 1 was kind of a week where you just want to relax. Ezekiel Elliott didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And if you believe in Ezekiel Elliott, I would say go target him. Mike Evans didn't do nothing. If you believe in him, go target him. Don't overreact to stupid things. And that's really kind of it.
Yeah,
it's week 1.
Enough
Just
said.
relax.
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 Phrase of the day, advice of the week. Relax.
Unless you won. Then you party and you say you have the best team and you get super cocky and then
Get on the group chat and start talking your stuff.
Exactly.
Enough said.
Yep.
I beat this guy this week in fantasy by what, 0.8 of a point?
Yeah.
I beat him by 0.8, and then in my other league, I lost by 0.8. So with that being said, keep checking out our fantasy football advice. We're the best in the game. We're the only guys that know what we're talking about. We keep it real. We don't say what we think people want to hear to bring in views. We keep it raw, real, uncut. As you guys notice, we don't really edit videos. We don't cut stuff out because we're legit. And we'll see you guys on tomorrow and Thursday's videos right now.
Yep. Best bets tomorrow. Be sure to
Best
check it
bets.
out.
Go listen to us and spend your money, win some money for yourself.